This video is brought to you by patreon.com/worsttake. Get access to exclusive live streams and Discord servers, on-screen shoutouts, and early access to some videos when you join now. Help make sure that we can continue to make content like this by supporting the Patreon. Links are in the description down below. I don't know if Juan Thornhill is truly the most polarizing player on the Cleveland Browns, but one thing I know for a fact is that Juan Thornhill plays the most polarizing position on the Cleveland Browns, and it's not quarterback, right? It's free safety. For whatever reason, free safety is always a hotbed for hot takes, whether you think it's because the position has legitimately not been played well or because the position kind of gets blamed for things being that they're the one that's going to be in frame when a big play happens. People generally don't understand what the free safety position is supposed to do or what good free safety play is supposed to look like. There are all kinds of reasons why free safety tends to be a hot topic of discussion amongst Browns fans. I mean, you can go back and I can ask you guys a question like, who was the last Browns free safety you thought was actually good? Like, to me, I'm like, it might go back to TJ Ward or maybe some people throw Demarius Randall in there, but Jabril Peppers, he was polarizing when he was the free safety for the Cleveland Browns because he was playing 40 yards downfield. We all remember how much blame Andrew Sadejo got for the failures of the Browns 2020 defense. Did the same thing to John Johnson. Joe Woods did not do anybody favors in that free safety room or with the free safety narrative, but the free safeties under Joe Woods really got blamed for a lot of issues that had more to do about Joe Woods. And now there's Juan Thornhill, which kind of exposes this habit we have of just blaming the free safety for all the problems on the defense, because even when your defense has as little problems as the 2023 Browns defense did, right? It's one of the best, if not the best defense in all of football. We still found a way to be mad at Juan Thornhill throughout the season. Now, some of the gripes against Juan Thornhill are legitimate. I think a good chunk of them, especially when it comes to his ability to run defense, when people are being negative about that, I think those are unfounded. But let's talk about Juan Thornhill and why I have Juan Thornhill ranked as the 20th most important player for the Browns this upcoming season. Juan's role as free safety on this defense specifically is not necessarily like a free safety's dream, because ideally, if you're a free safety, you want to play like how Minka got to play in 2020 for the Pittsburgh Steelers, where Minka's allowed to fly around, get to the football, do whatever he wants, make the plays that are there, like you see Ed Reed or Troy Polamalu. Like, that's what a free safety's dream is. That's not the world that Juan Thornhill lives in. He's not allowed to fly around and make a ton of plays. What you need Juan Thornhill to do is be a safety net, because he's not the guy that they designate to do that, right? That's what Martin Emerson's job is. That's what Grant Delpit's job is. That is what JOK's job is. It's kind of a similar role to what the Browns asked, or at least going to ask Jordan Hicks to do with JOK, right? Kind of be the babysitter, kind of hold things down in the back end of it. So before we really get into if Juan Thornhill is good, what Juan Thornhill needs to improve on, the pros or cons, let's jump into the bat cave and do a little bit of breakdown on what is good free safety play, what does Juan do well, and then kind of move on from there. The position is always a awkward one to judge because it's hard to figure out sometimes what a good play is for a free safety, because unlike these guys here in the front seven, you know what a good play is for them, right? A -1 yard run or a 2 yard run or a big play on a sweep or something like that. It's pretty obvious what's a big play for a defensive lineman or linebacker or even a corner. For free safety, it's a little bit different, right? Because I'm going to show you what is a big play for Juan Thornhill that when you watch it live, you're going to think, oh, man, that sucks that happened, right? Now, this is what a huge play for Juan. I believe this is on second or third down. And the reason this is a big play, just look at what he does here, right? You see Juan, first he takes a great angle, does a good job of avoiding this offensive lineman. So even better angle there. Sees and attacks. And he's sure with that tackle, because if Juan misses there, that's going to be a huge play. There's nobody else there, right? Like maybe Denzel Ward gets there like 10, 20 yards later, but if Juan doesn't get there, it's a big play. It's a huge play. It's a big time play for Juan Thornhill. It's a 7-yard gain. This is not a great play by Juan Thornhill, right? Now, I don't know if his responsibility was Gardner Minshew. I think his responsibility was the gap right in front of him. He just kind of picks up Gardner Minshew, right? And because he picks up Gardner Minshew, I don't think it was his pre-snap responsibility. I think whoever's responsibility Gardner Minshew was is down there crashing in the gap right now, right? So you have JOK. Maybe it was his responsibility, right? JOK. So he picks up on this, and whether it's his responsibility or not, got to make a better tackle than this. Still gets in position to do something, but just could not pull him down. Not a great play by Juan Thornhill, right? And that's the thing with Juan. He is always going to put himself in a position to make a play. And most of the time when it comes to tackling, he's going to make that play. There's just some times where he doesn't. It's another one, Juan. Right here in the top left corner of your screen. And this is the one, I talked about this on my Indianapolis versus Browns rewatch. This is something you hope that they fix in year 2. Being able to move in space and man better. Because you see this congestion right here at the top corner of your screen, left corner. Kind of causes that to be wide open. Whether that's Juan's fault, whether it's Greg's fault, that's going to be for Ephraim to decide, the secondary coach. This is another example of how something, when you watch it live, does not feel like it was a big deal. But for a free safety, this is a big play, right? So this run play goes down. And basically, Christian McCaffrey does an excellent job of making Ronnie McLeod miss here in the backfield. And once he makes Ronnie McLeod miss in the backfield, he has nothing but space and numbers. The only person who really has a legit angle on him at this point that's unblocked is Juan Thornhill. Now, again, you're watching this and you're like, damn, man, Christian McCaffrey done got like 8 yards already. That's a first down. It's not a good play. And then you just see Juan Thornhill roll around and you're thinking, oh, he missed the tackle. But what happened here was Juan, good angle, survived the little stiff arm that Christian McCaffrey tried to give him enough to see. You see that leg right there? He trips up that leg, and that slows down Christian McCaffrey just enough that Martin Emerson can make this tackle. And that stops a touch. Look at that. Look at it. If Juan does not take a careful angle, if he takes the angle that Grant Delpit took, right? You see Delpit's angle? Delpit's just going to chase him into the end zone as Christian McCaffrey scores. But if he does not take that careful angle, and look at this angle. This was not an easy angle for him to cut, right? Because look at this. He's coming all the way from the top safety position. And this is an impressive run play right here, run defense play by Juan. Doesn't feel like it because he got 10 yards, but this is what Juan's supposed to do, right? Does a great job scraping to take the angle. Look at that chaos he has to maneuver in the middle of that to take that angle and just get just enough on Christian McCaffrey to stop that touchdown from scoring. And that's a big deal because the Browns do, like on this next play, it's Juan Thornhill that gets them off the field. And this is just this is an obvious great play by Juan Thornhill, right? This is one of those things you don't need to be explained to you. But you know they're trying to get this through yak on man. This is a man beater, and they got it right. Like they got it. They with Taki on Christian McCaffrey, they got exactly what they wanted. They even got a little bit of a pick play here with Brandon Ayuk. They get what they want. Taki can't really cover George Kittle. But here comes Juan Thornhill, right, doing his job, maintaining middle, right, watching that crosser with George Kittle, and then crashes on, is that Justin Ayuk? Not Justin Ayuk, Justin Juszczyk, crashing on Justin Juszczyk to make a big play there, right? Bam! And that stops him from getting a first down on that big Christian McCaffrey run where they easily could have scored if he doesn't take a better angle, and that saves 4 points. It doesn't feel like a big play when it happens, but in practice, it was a massive play. And that's the thing with free safeties. A lot of the times, you will see them get involved on a tackle 20 yards downfield and think that they're the reason that the whole play happened and that they're to blame for the 20 yards, when a lot of the times the free safety is the one who is just trying to stop that play from getting worse and not really the one responsible for everything else that went down. This is a great example, a great set of examples of why it is that free safety play is one of the most misunderstood positions in all of online or just regular football discourse, because again, you would look at that play, that Christian McCaffrey run, and think, oh man, it's a bad play by the defense. Nobody did good on this. Everybody got blocked up. But what that is a great play by Juan Thornhill. That's my point with free safeties and why it's difficult to judge them, and why the judgments that you see on free safeties, you got to kind of evaluate where people are coming from with that. So the good news is, if that's Juan's role, if Juan's role is to kind of hold it down in the back end of this defense and make sure that they don't give up big plays, or if big plays do happen, he's there to put a net on it and stop it at 20. Juan Thornhill is pretty good at that, especially in the run game. The area in which Juan Thornhill is at his best is as a run defender, which is a better fit for what the Browns want to do. The Browns play a lot of man coverage, which means they're going to leave their corners on islands, which means the free safety position, yes, it's kind of important because you need somebody to cover up that ground. But outside of that person being like prime Earl Thomas with that level of speed, it's unreasonable to expect a defense that has this many man cover corners who likes to play man as much as the Browns. It's unreasonable to expect the free safety to cover up all the mistakes that could possibly happen between all three of those corners. If they sometimes your corners are just going to give up a big play when the Browns' defensive philosophy is what it is. But what you do need Juan Thornhill to be helpful in is as a run defender, right? Because there's a lot of times, because you have aggressive guys in that front seven, that they're going to miss a gap, or they're going to miss a player, they're going to miss a tackle, and that guy's going to get into open space, and you're the only thing holding back that play from being a touchdown. And another reason why that's important is, even if the Browns defense gives up a 20-yard chunk play, it's not really the end of the world when your defense is as good as the Browns are. You just need to make sure that you can keep the ball into field goal if you're the Browns defense, anytime that you force another set of downs versus a touchdown is a win, because this defense's ability to force a 3 and out is super high. So even if he's making a tackle 20 yards downfield, it's not that big of a deal, because all that is another set of downs. If you get this defense sets of downs consistently, they will force punts consistently or very long field goals consistently. And that's why what Juan Thornhill does is super important. It might be frustrating when you're watching the game in real time and you see somebody run the ball for 20 yards and Juan's out here trying to angle off the play and wide it down and take that guy's angle away, force him towards the sideline. So it's a 25-yard gain instead of a 35-yard gain. That might frustrate you at home, because at the end of the day, somebody got 25 yards. What makes that better is that the defense is now going to have another set of downs. Maybe they're in field goal range, maybe they're not. But as long as you get this defense's chances to stop a touchdown, they're going to be good at it. The best way to attack the Browns is to get a big play. And if you can mitigate the damage on those big plays, then you really have something cooking for this Browns defense. So that's why Juan Thornhill being able to fill that role is actually super important. The issue with And the reason he's good as a run defender, and it's important to have somebody who's a good athlete, fluid with their hips, who can mirror most running backs in one-on-one situations and not get lost, takes good angles and all of that. That's really good. That's some of the stuff that John Johnson did very poorly with this team. And the reason a lot of people were angry at John Johnson wasn't necessarily the pass coverage stuff. A lot of pass coverage stuff was a universal issue with that entire secondary, but a lot of this, the frustration with with JJ3 was how inept he was as a run stuffer, as a free safety. And I think that's why Juan Thornhill has been a nice little change of pace here. Hasn't made as many plays as you would want him to make, but he does stop the big ones from becoming bigger plays. Juan's two biggest issues are consistency in coverage and availability. Juan still has this tendency to get lost in coverage a bit. That's not really the greatest thing. And injuries have been a concern for him pretty much his whole career. And that's what you worry about with Juan Thornhill. Can he stay healthy for a whole season? He only did it 2 times in Kansas City. Last year, he was in and out the lineup a ton. That's what you need from Juan, is a healthy year. And you need some more consistency in coverage. Now, maybe the Browns defense being a little bit more simple, being in year 2, that will help Juan Thornhill play at a better level. But it's not like Juan Thornhill's been a consistently great coverage guy in his 4 years at Kansas City. And again, the injuries have probably been a part of that, where he's not playing as much and not going to have the level of comfort that you would want for somebody who's in their 4th year. Ultimately, where I'm at with Juan Thornhill is he's not the free safety you dream of. He's not the free safety that some Browns fans want, but he's definitely the free safety that the Cleveland Browns need at this point in time. The Browns need somebody who's going to be a short tackler, who's going to be able to play good angles, who's going to be able to mirror running backs in one-on-one situations, who's going to be able to do a good job of mitigating damage, especially on the run game. And that's this kind of free safety that Juan Thornhill has proven himself to be. But that's my thoughts on this. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.